Ladies and gentlemen, about one big hand for the injured player. 21, Byron Kohler. Foul on prayer, and you have that time. Nice job done by N-Star and trainers. Again, being on the spot. As we get set to resume play. 7 minutes and 44 seconds play here in the opening quarter.
Back after the injury timeout here at Clark Stadium in Fort Worth. The visiting Jones High School Fighting Tigers out of Orlando, Florida, marching in their opening drive. And we will see if they're able to come up with points inside the 10, down to the 2. And what a job keeping it on the ground. That was Malik Bryant. Jaron Parker, the running back. And we've seen a lot from him. We mentioned what a monster game he had last week in that victory. We've already seen a steady dose of number 1. Again to number 1 they go, and he is stood up at the line of scrimmage and knocked back the Panthers defensive line, bowing its neck.
That's an excellent push by that front 4 group from the Duncanville Panthers right there. Up until then, Jones pretty much had their way on that offensive line. That time you could actually see those white shirts. They moved backwards. Great job using your hands, great job with good low pad level. Maybe get a goal line stand right here. It's 4th and 2. Trying to keep them out of the end zone. More efforts like that from Duncanville, and they'll certainly get the job done here on 4th down.
4th and 2, and it looks like the Tigers moved early. That left tackle, we will have to check. It looks like big number 55 taking off before the snap. That'd be Xavier Rivera.
And unless Duncanville did something we couldn't see, it definitely looks like it's going to be a false start. In fact, they have marched that off. What a difference. 4th and 2 to 4th and 7. That changes it a little bit. You can see, look at the substitution package coming on and coming off for 4th and 7. They have all the big bodies in there for 4th and 2. It was going to be smash mouth, and now they've changed it out. Actually, it looks like they brought in the field goal team. Not even going to try it.
It'll be John Lee David to attempt. And no good, unable to send this one through. So Duncanville holds a drive that took almost half of the first quarter, but Jones unable to come away with any points.
Absolutely, and somewhat crushing for Jones. Of course, there's plenty of time left, but Duncanville got to have some positives out of that to be sure. They drove the ball, but at the end, it's all about points, and you didn't give up any. So get over on the sideline, make some adjustments, and I'm sure the coach is talking to them right now. Hey, good job bowing your neck. Good job stopping them. We got it done in the end now. Let's make some adjustments and see if we can maybe get them to punt next time instead of drive the length of the field.
Panthers will be led by number 12, Keelan Russell, sophomore quarterback, goes 6'3", 170. He's out there in place of Jameer Willis, the junior, who was injured last week in the victory over South Oak Cliff. We'll see how the Panthers respond as they saw their teammate number 21, Tyron Wally, injured earlier. He was carted off. It's going to be a handoff on the first play from scrimmage for the Panthers and a good pickup of 3.
And the Duncanville offensive line showing that they're ready to mix it up and get physical too. Lots of good big bodies moving people around.
There is Keelan Russell. I mentioned the sophomore who came on late in that victory over South Oak Cliff a week ago, ultimately led the Panthers to that season opening win. Just the sophomore, very bright future for number 12 in blue. He's going to be tested today in his first start. Drops back to throw. As a man, incomplete, couldn't bring it in and out of the hands of DeCorian Moore.
That ball just a little bit high, just a bit. It sailed on Russell, couldn't quite grab it. Going out of bounds, having to reach, because you got to put on the brakes, you got to tap your toes, otherwise you're going to go out of bounds. If that ball's a little further inside, that's going to be completed for a first down.
It'll be 3rd and a long 6 for Duncanville. Tigers looking to force an early 3 and out. Russell out of the shotgun, pressure comes, has to scramble, throws this one. As a man, complete first down, Panthers.
And that is a very good throw. That is a challenge. Running to your left as a right-handed quarterback and being able to throw the ball accurately. The tendency is for that ball to drift the way you're throwing, but he actually got it to go back across his body and threw it on a dime.
Montrell Turner, senior wide receiver, had it. Now it's going to be a handoff coming through. There's number 29, Caden Durham, the junior running back, shows what he can do. He had a great game last week. Under 19 yards and a touchdown in that season opening victory.
And you could see the Jones defensive backs had a beat on him, and he just gave him a little dip of the shoulder inside and bounced it around, flashing the jets early.
Again to Durham they go. Keeps it between the tackles, and he has stood up, minimal gain on the carry.
No movement that time from that Panther offensive line. Looks like we got a flag down as well. Let's see if we can hear something from the official. No real clear indication what the infraction was. It looks like they did march that off against Jones.
Duncanville into Jones territory for the first time today. From the Tiger 49, Russell as a man. And you could see there calling for it was Turner, thought he was open, and he was flanked by a pair of Tiger defensive backs.
And he was open, you could see it, but that pocket collapsed, and the sophomore quarterback just not being able to find the time to throw that ball. And that was going to be a tough throw because it was going to have to be over one defensive back but short of the other. Probably best decision just to eat that one.
Now 2nd and 8 after the sack. As a man underneath, complete across midfield, and loses his footing is Durham. The running back has the release valve out of the backfield.
That's the second time we've seen Durham in space and just flat out running that defender. I think one of the things you always got to do when you're playing a football game on defense, you always got to adjust to what you're seeing in front of you when it comes to speed. It looks like Jones are going to need to take a little bit of a flatter angle. And I think what you saw is that late hit out of bounds. At the end of that play once Dunham was down, but you do need to make sure as a defender you need to adjust your angle, and Jones is going to have to make sure they get that down because I can imagine they're going to see a steady diet of Durham for the rest of the afternoon.
Now they're bringing in the power back, Markel Porter, the junior, 6'1", 225 in the backfield. They have shown lightning, now thunder. Porter on cue, gets the carry, moves the pile, picks up 3, does the big back.
The senior drove his defensive lineman 6 yards back. You get 5 guys doing that on your offensive line, you're going to have a great day running the football.
After Jones took 5.5 minutes off the clock in their opening drive, ultimately missed the field goal attempt. It's now Duncanville looking to respond. Out of the backfield, Porter. Porter up across the 25, and that is where they will mark him.
All in all, I think that's a win that's going to go to Jones on that. You had a guy out there in space, and a good job rallying to the football by the Jones Tigers defense.
That's going to go against Duncanville. Lontrell Turner, the man flagged.
Bit of a sloppy game from a flag standpoint so far. It's early in the season. You expect there to be some more mistakes. This is an interesting play call here. There aren't too many 2nd and 22 plays in the playbook. What you want to do here is you want to get maybe 10 of it back. Try to get it back to something you can get on 3rd down, so you don't have to get all of it at once.
Durham back in as the running back. Russell drops back, now takes off. Russell with it. And pushed out of bounds. They're going to mark him at the 36. That's going to be 3rd and very long for the Panthers. But another flag comes in, and unfortunately, that has been the story early on.
And that's usually where you see holding.
Right you are, my friend. So the Panthers marching back on their side of midfield.
Let me see if I can get the math right on this. I think they're up to 2nd and 30, 2nd and 28 right here.
Marching back on their side of midfield.
Let me see if I can get the math right on this. I think they're up to 2nd and 30, 2nd and 28 right here. I mean, this is just forever to get a first down. Same strategy as before, just try to get some of it back. And no interception. You know, he may actually run the ball here.
Russell takes to the air, has a man complete. And down to the 30 before wrapped up. So able to pick up a chunk of that was DeCorian Moore.
Good job. You got a mobile quarterback, get him out on the edge and run, and that's an excellent job by the young. Oh my goodness. It is another flag.
By my count, that is the 5th in a row against Duncanville. Remember, they had a difficult time in the first half against South Oak Cliff a week ago. Both teams, some mistakes. But if you're Reginald Samples and this Duncanville coaching staff, this is absolutely the last thing you want to see.
And it's a shame because quarterback Russell, he did a really good job. He rolled out to his right, and instead of scrambling automatically, he did a great job of keeping his eyes downfield, looking for his receiver, and now it looks like they've actually gone the other way with this.
Strange turn there. Duncanville was backing up.
I think what happens, I think Jones must have declined that penalty, which I don't understand why you would have, because you could have backed him up even further. A little bit of confusion here. Looks like the officials are talking to both sets. Oh, well, now we're going the other way with it.
And Lane, we've said it's early in the season for the teams. It's early in the season for the officials as well. And obviously the officials get the brunt of it. We've got to give credit where credit is due. We know there's a dearth of officials. It's a thankless job. We wouldn't have this without them. But they're still getting up to game speed as well.
I'll give them the benefit of the doubt, but I don't know that I've ever seen that sequence of events like that just happened.
Pressure coming. Russell has a man underneath. Moore again, the receiver. No flags this time, and we are happy to see that is the case.
I like that. You had no one in the backfield but the quarterback. You had trips on one side, 2 receivers to the bottom. Everybody ran vertical except for one receiver on the trip side that ran into the vacated open spot in the middle. With all the defensive backs going deep for Jones, you had an open man in the middle. Good pass right there from Russell, and that gets you to a point where you've got to. No, there was a flag and we missed it.
And it was against Jones, so thought we'd got away with a play clean was not the case.
It was a late hit on the quarterback, and so now that is an automatic first down for Duncanville, and here they are back where they were a few plays ago, but now we're up to 6 flags in a row here. Flags in a row here.
Be 1st and 10 Panthers from the 20. A little pitch in the backfield and hit for a loss. Nothing doing. Great pursuit from Tillin Wade for the Tigers.
That is very impressive. A defensive end to have the speed to chase down a running back. What a play right there from number 7.
Davion Blewett, speedy senior wide receiver, thought he had green grass in front of him, but tracked down by big, rangy number grass in front of him, but tracked down by big, rangy number 7 in white. Right you are, Wade showing some speed off the edge.
That's impressive. That's a big young man moving right there.
Back to 2nd and long. Pressure again. Russell able to elude the first. Takes to the air. And has a man complete. Somehow able to make the grab. It was Kalen McInnes.
Looks like another flag here.
Still 1:44 remaining in the first quarter. Scoreless between Jones and Duncanville in a first quarter that has been unfortunately dominated by the officials' whistle.
Okay, at the end of the day, what gets enforced here is a defensive holding, and that is going to be an automatic first down again by Duncanville. I wanted to point out I am very impressed with Russell. That's 2 times in a row. A lot of pressure on him, and he's keeping his eyes downfield, looking to make plays with his arm, showing a lot of poise.
Just a sophomore, and a hit in the backfield. Durham nowhere to go, and yes, another flag on the play. Going to go against the Tigers. Having to march back another 5 yards.
A shame there because that was a good play. That defense had them, did a very short gain on the run. They played that very, very well, but you can't line up in the neutral zone. That's an easy call. You got 2 officials looking straight down the line of scrimmage every play looking for that. Got to be disciplined.
Remember, this is still Duncanville's first drive. And Russell looking to the end zone, has a man too far in front of him. Jones took 5.5 minutes off the clock in their opening drive. Ultimately couldn't come away with any points in the missed field goal.
That's Christopher Tooley there at his cornerback position, and that's as good as you can play that. He was with them step for step on that fade pass out in the corner of the end zone. You can't play it any better than that.
2nd and 5 for Russell and the Panthers. Durham gets the handoff, trying to get around the edge. Durham, maybe a gain of 1.
Another impressive display of team speed right here from the Jones defense. Another sweep play that looked like they were going to get it, bounce it to the outside, and they didn't. We were talking about earlier making those little adjustments in the angles you need to take to get to the running back. Well, that time, Durham, past few plays, he's had that sweep to the outside. It's worked for him. That time, looks like maybe the defense starting to figure out his speed a little bit, and they're starting to take better angles to the football.
Jones High School Fighting Tigers band making the trip from the Sunshine State. You and I earlier saying that Jones uniforms looking a bit like the Miami Hurricanes. The band looking like FAMU, and that is as high praise as you can give.
Absolutely. A lot of pride in the band there at Florida A&M University, the Rattlers, and a lot of pride in that Jones band as well.
Timeout taken by Duncanville, 14 seconds remaining in the first quarter. There is that Fighting Tigers band making the trip from Orlando.
Look at the band director getting into it. Love it.
You and I talked about high school football. Sometimes people think it's just about the players on the field. It is a community effort in the bands, the trainers, the pep squad, the drill team, everybody getting involved in what it means, not just for the schools, but the communities. And there's a perfect illustration. You get a shot there of the Panther Band as well to the right of your screen, making a much quicker trip from Duncanville.
Absolutely, and I tell that to anyone that I ever talk to. You know, I understand the football team's on the field, but the number of students that get involved in a high school football game, as you said, the band, the drill team, the trainers, the cheerleaders, it is such a great thing to have that many students involved in something, feeling part of something. It's just a fantastic atmosphere.
Also plenty of time, has a man underneath and hit immediately upon reception. Blanket defense, and I believe that was George Brown with the tackle for the Tigers.
That was impressive there from the secondary of Jones. They're trying to run a little pick route. The defensive back, he went over the top of that route. He didn't get caught up in all the wash and in the mess and was able to break on what was really a very well-thrown football for a tackle for no gain.
Oh, the end of the first quarter, scoreless between the Jones Fighting Tigers out of Orlando and the Duncanville Panthers from here in the Lone Star State. We'll take a break, and we will head to quarter number 2 here at Clark Stadium in Fort Worth. You're watching the I-20 Classic on Flow Football. Welcome back. Start of quarter number 2, a scoreless affair between Duncanville and Jones here at Clark Stadium in Fort Worth. Alongside Lane Grigg, I'm Kit McConico. And, well, Lane, scoreless no more on the board. First points of the game. It took over a quarter, but we finally have a score. And Duncanville with the opener.
Good snap, good hold, good kick. Points for Duncanville, that's a positive, but Jones is going to take that as a positive as well. You got first down inside the 20-yard line, and you only give up a field goal. That is certainly going to be a victory for the defense.
A first quarter that was unfortunately marred by penalties, almost double-digit penalties. In fact, it's the Panther Band on their feet. So Duncanville able to find the first points, and now we will see what Jones can do back on offense. Their offense very impressive. They marched down the field, took 5.5 minutes off the clock, but just couldn't come away with points as they missed their field goal attempts.
Absolutely, and that drive that Jones had originally set up by an exceptionally good kickoff return on the first kick of the ball game. They run that all the way out to the 45, almost all the way to midfield. We'll see if Duncanville can cover that kickoff a little bit better, make Jones work a little harder at least to move the chains. So far, a low-scoring affair, you know, and if you live in the state of Texas like we do, Kit, you're used to seeing Duncanville put some points up on the board, and so far they just hadn't quite seemed to found their offensive stride. Of course, you got a backup quarterback. That's going to be a big part of it. But we'll see. We'll see if both teams kind of maybe feeling each other out a little bit early, see if they get warmed up.
We know that early in the season, defense coming along quicker than offense, but you would imagine the offense will warm up, as you said, and hopefully quicker rather than later. As Jones' returner slips just across the 10. It looks like he may have had a bit of space in front of him, but it is going to be a long field for the Tigers as they will start things at their own 11-yard line.
Yes, an excellent open field tackle by the white stripe on the 10-yard line there. Just flat tripped.
The field still undefeated.
And I do believe you're correct, Kid. It looked like he would have gone, you know, he was hitting that full speed. Probably a break for Duncanville that he did trip. It looks like he was going to pick up some yards on that.
Maxime Jean-Denis, the senior quarterback out of the shotgun. Very poised in his first drive. Steps up in the pocket, has a man, and couldn't connect. Big hit laid by number 13. Madison there for the Panthers.
If you're out there as a young person wondering how you play the free safety position, that is exactly how you play the free safety position. Anyone comes down the middle of the field, you're right there and you're ready to make a play on that ball. That was fantastic. You can't do any better than that. Physical hit, that receiver, he's going to know you're there next time, and a clean hit. Nothing to the head, nothing cheap, just good hard play.
2nd and 10, pressure comes, and able to get this one away in the nick of time.
And so far we've seen 2 pass plays by Jones, and we've seen 2 good pushes from that front 4 from Duncanville. Anytime as a defense you can get pressure with your front 4 without having to bring blitzes, and I'm not against blitzes, you bring those from time to time to mess up that blocking scheme. But when your front 4 can get pressure and collapse that pocket, you're well on your way to an above-average defense.
Big 3rd and 10 coming here. Jones get a stop. Can Duncanville get the stop for Jones? Something they had trouble doing in that first drive for the Tigers. Looking for the long bomb down the sideline. Has a man and just couldn't connect. Knew where he wanted to go with it.
That is pretty impressive arm strength right there from quarterback Jean-Denis. That ball was in the air. I counted. That was almost 65, 70 yards that ball was in the air, which that's something they're going to talk about on the sideline from Duncanville. I'm sure they knew his arm strength coming into the game, but you better make sure as a defensive back, you better cover that receiver till the whistle blows, because you're 60 yards downfield, and that young man right there, number 9, he can get the ball there. What a cannon.
Tigers will have to punt it away from their own end zone. Chance for great field position from the Panthers. See if they bring heat. They do. A low driving kick over the head of the returner. Takes the Tigers bounce, fielded at the 25. Here it comes Blewett. Flag comes in behind the play, up across the 40, and another flag in on the return.
I think you're going to get multiple illegal blocks here. That's going to negate what was a pretty good return, a good 20 yards return on that. And what a punt. You saw at the beginning of that, you had a bad snap, and then you kicked a bullet, and it's going to end up going backwards. I think it's going to go back almost to the 20 or maybe even inside after this is all sorted out. You want to talk about flipping the field here, Kit. You're punting from the shadow of your own goalpost. And in Duncanville, you're pretty sure you're probably going to get that ball somewhere around midfield. And an exceptionally good kick and a block in the back later. And now all of a sudden around midfield, you're starting inside of the 30.
It'll be a long field for the Panthers. Again, remind you, this is just game 1 of 2 we have. The fans here, the bands. Great atmosphere at Clark Stadium in Fort Worth. Come and join us. Tickets available at the gate or online at alwe.com. Click on the High School Classic game. And we will have DeSoto, another DFW Metroplex team. The Eagles, they call them DeSoto U for all the players they send to the next level. On Mathis's side, they will be taking on St. Francis Academy, one of the top teams in the country out of Baltimore. Russell hit from behind. Hit on release. And the Tigers say they have it. They do. Pressure on the sophomore quarterback. And picked up by Corey Andrews for Jones.
And what you have here is an excellent job by the defensive backfield covering it so long. You can see the quarterback had plenty of time to make a throw. There's just no one open. And then you get the rush coming in from the backside. He never sees it. It's not his fault. Comes in from the backside, knocks the ball loose. It's a fumble recovered by Jones. And now all of a sudden they're set up with a very, very short field. See if they can capitalize on it.
Handoff around the left side, upended at the 25.
coming in from the safety position, you can see it right there. Number 2, Kadavian Dotson Walker, making a great open field play. You had the backside guard and tackle pulling from Jones. One guy kicks out, one guy wraps around, and there was no one there until the safety came up and made a really good open field tackler. That play would have defensive front on the pass rush. They're starting to get home. They're getting there really quick. Jones is having to go with these short, quick passes, which is what you need to do versus a defensive line. Also, another way to slow them down, throwing a screen pass here or there to slow down that rush. See if they go to that here at some point today.
Sean Simpson on the outside, the big, rangy defensive end, number 10. Oh, and coming through, and missed time to that one, it appears. Vernon Grant, the senior linebacker.
That was kind of strange. He came through kind of lackadaisical, like it wasn't really a blitz, and then he just kind of, I guess he thought, well, he'd already done it, so might as well just keep going. Kind of a strange play right there. Again, giving him 3 yards, takes it to 3rd and 6 to 3rd and 1. It's a pretty big mistake on defense.
Jones handoff to Parker, who slips right at the first down marker. We'll see if it's enough for a new set of downs.
And I can't tell from here, Kit, this is going to be close. See if they have to bring out the sticks on this one.
And they're going to say Parker indeed just enough for the first down.
Good play. You could see right there, anytime an athlete cuts off their inside foot, the chances of slipping are pretty high. That's exactly what happened there. You got to cut on that out. It didn't look like there should have been a flag. I think he was there and he just kind of slipped. I think that ball is a little off target. Looked like the receiver was running more of a post route and quarterback threw a little bit more of a straight up the seam route, maybe favoring the corner just a little bit. So I think that's just going to be a little bit of a miscommunication. I think the slip's going to result from that wide receiver trying to make that last minute adjustment to get that ball, because you could see he was open.
Elijah Williams, his Tigers, big 3rd and 10 in the red zone. Again, incomplete, and now it's decision time, Lane. 4th and 10, but hold on. A flag on the play. I think that is going to go against Duncanville as well. There's the confirmation, automatic first down. Deldrick Madison. Penalty going against number 13 for Duncanville.
It is right there, and you talk about letting him out right there on defense. It looked like he didn't really have to and do the infraction on that. I know he's not trying to. He's just playing good, hard football, but kind of gifting him, letting him get him a bit of a get-out-of-jail-free card right there.
Well, 1st and goal, little pitch underneath to Wade. Wade still on his feet across the 5. Wade still keeps the legs churning. Wade down inside the 5.
Feel of a rugby scrum on that one right there. Big guys up front, keeping their legs churning. Wade keeping his leg churning as well. Second time we've seen that little two-handed underneath shovel pass right there around the edge.
Wade, we've seen Dylan Wade on both sides of the ball as a defensive end and getting it done in multiple facets in offense. Number 7 in white, certainly a talent.
I tell you, when you're an offensive lineman and you see the guy that you're supposed to block at defensive end gets a few snaps back there at running back, you know you're in for a long night as an offensive tackle, because you got a big young man with some speed.
And Wade remains in as the Wildcat quarterback, and his hard count able to draw the Panthers offside. Just when we mentioned the versatility of Wade, he shows a new wrinkle.
Couple defensive plays here. They just hadn't had the discipline back there on Duncanville. They're not even set. They weren't even set for that play.
And Jones takes full advantage. The Tigers in for their first score.
You could see Duncanville came in with the late substitution. It looks like they were still kind of wondering what was going on after that last jumping off sides, not ready to go. But the Jones Tigers, they were ready to go, and number
Duncanville